And welcome back to Abidjan, to the Palais des Sports de Treichville here in Côte d'Ivoire, as we get a look at Rafik Safbini, the coach from the U18 squad from Egypt. who today will be facing off against a team in Group A with an equal record, both coming in at 1-1, Egypt and Chad. And there, look at Chad and their head coach, Nubaramaje, Asnal Nubaramaje, getting his lads ready for the matchup, and this should be a very interesting one. It's a lot riding on this game today. It's very simple, win and you're in. Doesn't mean that losing will count you out of getting out of the group stage, but better to have all the keys in your own pocket. And this one could hardly be simpler. Egypt and Chad both 1-1, and there's a quarterfinal place waiting for the winner. Egypt bring the pedigree. Great basketballing nation, fantastic youth programs. And Chad bring the momentum with a big historic victory over Nigeria. And they also bring one of the players we're going to be watching tonight in Nagabayaya. Really one of the most dynamic players we've seen in this AfroBasket tournament. 21 rebounds in that victory over the Tigre. So Egypt are going to look to establish some rhythm, something that they were lacking in their last outing against Cote d'Ivoire. Lots and lots of turnovers. Chad want to put up resistance. And bottom line is that 40 minutes from now, one of these teams will have for sure punched their ticket for the quarterfinal. The loser would fall to 1 and 2. Could still qualify as one of the tournament's 2 best third place teams, but then you're dependent on the other groups and possibly point differential there. Look at Yaya, number 14. FIBA advances the 3 group winners, 3 runners up, and 2 best third place teams. So this is going to be just an absolute wonderful contrast of 2 teams coming in from different perspectives. Egypt, this continental heavyweight, trying to recover from a 27-point defeat to the home team, Cote d'Ivoire. And Chad, who are the U18 AfroBasket newcomers, and have just recorded their first win in tournament history. So coming from very different places, coming from very different experiences in the tournament. And this should prove to be one of the more intriguing matchups we've been enjoying over the weekend. Of course, today's not the last day of competition. Tomorrow is. We'll talk about the schedule. We'll talk about the schedule today and tomorrow. Earlier today, Gabon in a thriller pulled away at the very end from Morocco to win that one 67-62. So let's hope that we can get an equally exciting match. Let's see if we're getting any audio out of the huddles. You know, it's not very audible, so let's introduce the good guys, the referees today from Morocco, Zuhir Bouhaba. From Botswana, Dorothy Okach. And from Algeria, Anis Benhani will be the arbitrage for today. Boom mic down there trying to pick up a little bit of the pregame chatter with Rafik Safbini, giving the last instructions to the Pharaohs, as they're well known. And we are just about set to get it going here in the Palais des Sports de Treichville. Chad will have to look to get plenty of output, not just from Yaya. They'll need to involve other players in the scoring. Junior Gibrin, certainly one of the likely candidates, put in 17 points so far in the tournament. And he will be jumping against the big man, Saifala for Egypt. And Chad control the tip-off. Keep an eye on the first, let's say, 5 possessions or so for Egypt. Well, there's a turnover already for Chad. We're going to look out for Egypt and see if they could handle the ball security. So far, so good, because Chad, with the first unforced error of the ball game, drive to the bucket, and the account is already opened by Youssef. Hussein Youssef with the first 2-pointer of the ball game for the Pharaohs. Chad, Jibreen at the point. Jibreen driving. Tries to get one to float in, and he does. We're tied up at 2, and 2 good-looking offensive possessions after an initial miscue from Chad. Youssef running the offense. Zinedine out on the wing. Zinedine driving, unsuccessful. Cleared out by Jetsem. Into the low post. Jibreen loses his man and goes up for 2. They wanted an offensive foul there, but the referee kept the Fox 40 silent. Out on the wing. Bahri. Veteran coach slash dentist, by the way, for your information, against the, I wouldn't call necessarily a youngster at 41, but he's only retired from playing since 2019 as the Chadian coach. Chad up by 2. Egypt, quick in transition. And a violation, backcourt violation. Baramaji, 41, long-time international point guard for the Chadian side. Jibreen goes with authority but can't complete the deal. Good block there by Bahri. Well, the coast-to-coaster interrupted by Yaya. But I believe we're going to have goaltending on the play. All tied up at 4. And he's a big man, but Yaya will come out and run the offense. Jibreen, and somebody is going to have to stop him. You know, the last time he had free ride to the basket, just couldn't round it off. But this time, that was dunked down with authority, and Yaya's going to have to be careful. That's the second time down that he's relinquished the basket. So as quickly as they go up by 2, they give it back, courtesy goaltending from Ngaba Yaya. Ball floated into low post, just a little bit too hot to handle for Yaya. Bahri brings the ball up the floor, handling it like a point guard. Shot from 3, and it is good. Hendoui, one of the leading scorers for Egypt, and one of the motors in that Pharaoh offense, drains one from three-point land. And I'll tell you what, this has really been a great start to the ball game. If this is the indication of more things to come, you better buckle up, because this is going to be a good one. 3.5 minutes played. Into the post. Jibreen looking for options. Hits the trailer. Tough shot to make. Running up to the key. Youssef working against Jetasem. Shot for 3. Range is just off. Jibreen with a good rebound. So far, it's been the Junior Jibrin show. Here comes Yaya trying to get himself up on the score sheet, and he does. Well fought for bucket for the youngster. Youssef working against Jetasem once again up there at the point. Just a miscommunication as Saifallah could not get the handle. And an unforced error and turnover, and quickly at the other end, Jibrin is absolutely on fire. He's got 6 already, and we're not even halfway through the first quarter. Screen set up there by Saifallah. Zipped out to the wing, three-pointer up, bit short. And we'll have a foul underneath, pushing foul. So a foul against Egypt. As Tamer Shaheen checks into the ball game for the Pharaohs. Yaya hands it off, gets it back, wants to drive. Yaya for 2. Ngaba Yaya. Youssef. Running the point. Swings it out onto the wing to Mahdi, the captain. And he missed that one, but don't worry, he'll get his points tonight. The question is how many, and that could be a big deciding factor in the game. Chad were having a great deal of difficulty hitting both 3s and 2s in their game against Nigeria. They just got the ball so much and had so many opportunities that they managed to beat the Tiger. But shot a very abysmal percentage from the floor. It's not pretty at all, the victory over Nigeria. Coast to coaster could have been a three-pointer, but once again the arbitrage letting them play. Bahri that time, and there's a quick transition. They caught Egypt sleeping. Usman. Hamad Osman with the coast to coaster. Ahmed Bahri. Bahri couldn't get it to go. We'll have an opportunity from the free throw line to get a pair. So we talked about the shooting of Chad against Nigeria, 25%. And of course, one of the factors that helped them was that Nigeria shot even worse, 18%. Yeah, that made a big difference in the ball game. That and a striking amount of turnovers from Nigeria. That coming off an absolute drubbing in round 1, and there's just another example of how explosive this Chadian offense can be. There's Usman for the second straight trip up the floor, just getting behind the Pharaoh defense and converting. 3-point lead for Chad. They'll slow it down now, run their offense. Well, that's the threat that Yaya poses. All eyes on Yaya. And Ndodu able to just dance all the way to the rim because everybody was looking for him to dish. That was well played. Youssef throws one up, and ran into some opposition. Foul. And we'll see a couple of substitutions as Tamer checks out of the ball game. And Hussein Youssef, this young combo guard, tosses in a couple from the charity stripe. Jibrin thought twice about it, runs it back out, waits for the help to arrive, and throws one up from downtown. Couldn't connect. Cleared out by Mahdi. Down in the low post, kick back out. Mahdi should have thought better about trying to challenge Yaya on that fashion, and he jams it home. Gaba Yaya. And just what I warned you about at the onset. If he gets loose and he gets assistance from a couple other guys on the floor, this could be Chad's afternoon. Rami Mahdi getting roughed up a little bit by Watson. That will send the captain, Rami Mahdi, to the line. Plays his club basketball back in Egypt for Al Ittihad. A short appearance for Watson. He'll be replaced by Muhammad Usman. Eighteen-year-old captain drains the first of two. Rest assured, the Pharaohs can score. They're averaging 78.5 of the tournament. Chad 55 only. But till now, the offensive output from Chad has been nothing short of impressive. Four on the shot clock. Jibrin tosses one up, and he is just on fuego. Junior Jibrin has been the standout offensively for Chad. Youssef off the screen. A little pick and roll, and the roll is good. Now that is the first two-pointer for Abdel Daim. Gaba Yaya dishes off. Put his colleague in a predicament there. Now Bahri moving quickly. Lovely transition, just unlucky. Ahmed Bahri with a lovely drive to the bucket. Just couldn't get it to fall. at the line. Zainadine Abdeldaim. Year-old trying to cut the deficit to 2. Can't do it. Yaya clears the window. From out on the wing, Usman has been a big contributor so far. Just couldn't get anything out of that. Bakhri Hussein, and the end of the quarter. Pity for the Pharaohs, they couldn't get a last shot up. But under the number of are you being entertained, if your answer is no, I don't know what else to do for you. This was one heck of an opening stanza. And living up to its billing, with Chad leading Egypt 23-20 after 1 quarter of play. We'll take a brief break and be right back with quarter number 2. Stay tuned.
Vous avez arrêté de faire des faux efforts en défense. Tous les paniers qu'ils ont eu, c'est pas les lancers francs. Ça veut dire que vous ne faites pas les efforts qu'il faut. On défend avec les jambes, pas avec les mains. Si on ne veut pas, j'ai dit, à un gol, à la frontière de nous, et on reste soudés.
Animated pep talks from both coaches as the horn summons the players back out onto the court. As we're just about to get things started for quarter number 2, and let's hope it lives up to the precedent set in quarter number 1. And there's the guy who's really been making it happen for Chad so far, Junior Jibrin. Jibrin averaging 11 points a game so far in the tournament, 5 rebounds. And he's on pace to surpass his average. That was a lovely idea, just the execution lacking a bit. They tried to set up a little alley-oop. Did the Pharaohs. Chad now with their first offensive possession of this quarter. Jibrin coming out to handle it. Well, they ran out of time. Jerusalem with some difficulty on the handle. And Egypt can potentially tie up the ball game. Well, it was just a matter of time before he stopped goaltending and started blocking shots. And Yaya with an emphatic block, and look what he's going to do at the other end. Just couldn't get it to go. He was a little bit sleepy in the first quarter and allowed the star of Jibrin to rise a bit, and I'm sure that hasn't diminished whatsoever. If those two can maintain the temperature, it's going to be a tough night, or a tough afternoon rather, for the Pharaohs. Yaya puts up a floater, gets his own rebound, and is fouled. The big man got him, Bilal Sohaib. One of the things we were going to track, and so far it's been a very moot point, Ngaba Yaya now at the foul line had some foul trouble in the game against Nigeria himself. Fouled out of the ball game with 2:45 to go. And we were going to keep him on watch, but so far has only racked up one personal foul. 2 would have been a danger zone item. He's going to kick it back out. They got 10 seconds left to run this offense. Jibreen defers. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Yeah. That's the way we do it. Big three-pointer. Egypt formulating a good answer. Abdeldaim. This is a danger zone area. If they're going to start stroking threes like this, the Pharaohs are going to be in big trouble. Usman now getting himself up on the score sheet with a tray. Youssef to Tamir. Good fake. And a second foul just that quickly on Ngaba Yaya. Now we do have some room for concern. Frankly, I'm surprised the Pharaohs hadn't gone after that a little bit more aggressively early on, but I think that may be part of the strategy at this juncture. To challenge or was it Najerisim? No, it was, Yaya has 2 fouls. So does Najerisim, by the way, but he's the only one who's been subbed out, as Abdeldaim does his work from the free throw line. Hot potato and a turnover. Egypt challenging Ngaba Yaya, and he needs to be careful. Block was fantastic. We just don't need to hover over somebody and remind him about it. That's what the crowd is there for. Diab, spark plug when he's in there on offense. Little connector. Shot from the captain. Mahdi, shot is off. Cleared out by Ngaba. Touched, so not a backcourt violation. Usman, nope. Egypt, the other way. Well, that could be very bad news indeed. It looks like Jibreen was called. That's first personal foul on Junior Jibreen. And a timeout, I believe, called by Chad. Give us an opportunity to have a look at the crowd on hand. Modest crowd. Of course, the home side not playing. It's been a raucous crowd when Cote d'Ivoire has been in here. And there was that lovely three-pointer from Ngaba Yaya, who currently is representing 10 of the 30 Chadian points. Let's listen in. So Ngaba Yaya on 10 points. Junior Jibrin leading all scores with 11. And for the Pharaohs, it is Abdel Daim with 7 to pace Egypt. 6:17 left to go here in the first half. It's been a beauty so far. Egypt trailing by half a dozen, and in large part due to the performance of number 17. And now at the line to shoot a couple is Begad Ibrahim. Bringing the ball up the floor, as your tall usually does. Guy who can do it all out there for him. Usman had the time, just couldn't get the rangefinder set correctly. Ibrahim leaves for Diab. Diab directing traffic. Gonna take a crack at it himself, and a lovely backdoor, just couldn't get lucky. Well, he'd circumnavigated his way through those Chadian talls, but just couldn't seal the deal. But there's a deal that is well sealed indeed, sir. Oh, his light will shine. Ngaba Yaya. Time will only tell what the future holds for that promising talent. Rising star of African basketball. Ngaba may even have some bad memories of playing against Egypt. Here's Usman, he gets stuffed. Suhaib did not have 2 blocks in him on that particular trip, and Chad managed to come up with a bucket anyway. Talking about Yaya and his bad recollection of Egypt back in the U18 AfroBasket, it was the Egyptians who got the better of Chad, who were paced by a much different Ngaba Yaya back in the day. He has really matured and really grown athletically and as a basketballer. And we're seeing that on full display so far. We're also seeing Junior Jibrin just can't get that one to go on the turnarounder. Another big rebound for Yaya. Well, shooting's gone cold on both sides for the moment. Who can break it open? Diab won't. Yaya with a rebound. Gibran cleans it up. And they're going to get a little pressure now from the Pharaohs. Half-hearted. Leave him alone like that? No, I don't think so. No, not a good idea. Not a good idea at all, Pharaohs. Timeout. And a timeout that needed to be taken. They need to put the clamps on that Chadian offense, if they can. But what we talked about at the onset, Ngaba Yaya was always going to get his points if he remains healthy and fit. He had some cramping problems in the first outing against Cote d'Ivoire. against Nigeria. The only thing that stopped him was 5 fouls. 245, fouled out of the game. So he was always going to feature. But now you see 17 in picture, and he is contributing. Usman is the third man, it would appear. We've unmasked the third musketeer, if you will. And his name is Mahamat Usman. Has not been a big factor scoring-wise for the Chadians so far, but has emerged in the early going. Now that could be somebody else going forward, but for now, that's keeping the Pharaohs honest. They cannot cluster to one of the two talls. It's just been a real wonderful performance so far from Chad. Egypt, for their part, really need to play Pharaoh ball. You saw it in their first outing. Egypt just absolutely took down Nigeria, albeit a short-handed Nigeria. Well, look out. Yaya warning. And for the folks who showed up, they're getting a show. If you're watching this broadcast, you're anywhere near the Palais de Sport, get yourself over for the second half. Boy, things just are not working out for Egypt at the moment, although they will get a trip to the free throw line. I think they are rattled. They could have known. They certainly could have seen the writing on the wall. No big secret when Chad took down Nigeria. But maybe they focused too much on the drubbing that Chad took at the hands of Côte d'Ivoire. Les Éléphants 104, Chad 51. It was not pretty. Chad's coach himself, Baramaje, said something to forget. It appears they have long forgotten that outing. Sahaib will get yet another crack at the free throw. Sahaib, 3 points so far in the ball game. Will not get number 4, but the captain can't get it to fall either. Just not a lot of luck right now at the moment. And that's more of the same. Bahi. Tough sledding. Usman waiting for Yaya to show up under the basket. It's a good feeling with Ngaba Yaya near the basket for the rebound. Usman driving, throws up a prayer, and yep, sure enough, there's that second chancer. Oh, he tried to do a little backstroke. They know each other well. They've worked together in the past. Coach runs a lot of clinics and has had the opportunity to work with Yaya over the years. But his big fella just made a bit of a mistake and has picked up his third personal foul, and that is bad news for Chad. So Ngaba Yaya on the bench. Let's see if the Pharaohs can capitalize. Lost the handle. Did Ndodu. Asnal Nubaramaje. Gonna have to find a way to live without the services of number 14 for a while. I suspect we won't see him for the remainder of this half for certain, and it'll just be a matter of how much he'll be available in the second half. So
دور على ان الراجل يجي لك وتسيب الكره اللي بلاد.
very animated intermission for Rafik Safbini, along with Islam Kilani, trying to wake up the Pharaohs. Minute and a half left to play in the first half. 12-point deficit. And they start to chip away with it just like that. Nice little touch shot by Sohaib. Jibrin unable to convert. Another chance for Egypt. Need to be careful with the basketball. Good looking three-pointer, in and out. Jibrin leaves to Abiyat, who we have not seen so far in the ball game. Bounce pass underneath. Got that one just to go just a couple of minutes ago, or just a couple of seconds ago, rather. Unlucky that time was Sohaib. And about 20 seconds left here in the half. Chad down to 5. They'll need to hurry. Don't want to squander the opportunity. Throws one up from deep downtown Abidjan. And now 5 seconds for Egypt. They could bring it back to a single-digit deficit if they could do some good work from the free throw line. It would certainly make the good doctor, Rafik Safbini, a little happier. As Bahri heads to the charity stripe. It's now a single-digit deficit. Bahri, who's been averaging 12.5 points a game, gets the second one to fall. So the lead has been cut to 8 points. I'm seeing 7 on the screen. Am I confused, or did somebody hit the point button twice? We'll have a discussion. In any case, the official score appearing from FIBA is 39-32, and that's what we will go with. And with that, we will take our leave for about 15 minutes to give everyone a chance to get a refreshment. I shall do the same. Looks like we're going to have a little review. Let's keep it here just for a second to see if there's an adjustment on the scoreboard. Well officiated first half. They really let the youngsters play. And for my part, The arbitrage was very competent indeed throughout the first half of play, and I think they just want to dot the I's and cross the T's. Okac together with Zuhair Buhaba sorting things out before the intermission. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take a little break and be back, and by that time I'm sure we will have sorted out the exact score before we start the second half of play. But for now, suffice it to say that Chad has gone into the locker room with a lead, and we'll be back shortly with the second half. And don't go anywhere, because this promises to be a real blockbuster of a basketball game. Be right back. Well, the Pharaohs break their huddle, and we'll join Chad on the floor for the second half, and what a first half it was. 39-32, the halftime score in favor of Chad. But the entire second half may hinge on the foul troubles of Chad's Ngamba Yaya. Has three and missed about the last couple of minutes of the first half. He was magnificent offensively. 19 first-half points, including a couple of two-pointers, some dunks, offensive rebounds, blocks, steals. He did everything except fix lunch for everybody at halftime. but he will start out on the floor, now on ball. And we'll just have to see if he can keep himself out of further trouble. A fourth foul would really be a problem. There's an unforced error. Chance for Egypt to drift into the momentum that they started at the end of the second half. They cut the deficit down, and looks like they're going to continue along the same path. It's now down to 5. Junior Jibrin now on ball, and he was really part of that offensive motor in the first half of play and was responsible for some of the early points for Chad before Ngaba Yaya could get his motor running and up to speed. There's Yaya. Had trouble on the handle. That was touched. Don't worry, he's perfectly comfortable running the point. Now he just traveled. So 2 unforced errors to open up the second half, and Chad is not off to a top start. Rafik Savbini, very animated in the first half. And I think he was trying to wake up the Pharaohs. And let's see how much effect that has had. Youssef. Bachi out on the wing. Challenges to the inside, and a lovely lay-in off the glass. Ahmed Bachi, and Chad has already seen enough. Baramaje already thinks, hey, I'm going to call the guys over, and we're going to talk about this because this is not what we discussed at halftime. Egypt already has cut the deficit to 3 points. Remember, it was 10. And a 5-0 run following Sohaib's putback at the buzzer. Completed a 5-0 run for Egypt. In fact, the deficit was 12.
On leur donne pas confiance. Ah, hey, avec le cœur. 1, 2, 3.
So an 1, 2, 3, and then Wahad Nain Talete on the other bench, and we are ready to resume festivities here from the Palais des Sports de Treichville in Abidjan. Well-organized tournament. Hats off to the LOC here in Côte d'Ivoire. Done a fantastic job. Youssef. He left it off for Sohaib. He was losing the handle on the ball. Yaya doing what Yaya does, driving and scoring. And rebounding, and blocking, and stealing. Now you see the timidity of Ngaba Yaya in the paint. And that's something that Egypt can take advantage of. He's been curtailed somewhat in the amount of defense he can play, and that's going to be something that if the Pharaohs can take advantage of, will be something to watch. Yaya pulls up for 3. Made a couple of them in the first half. Can't get that one to go. Quick transition. Now backed off by Bachi. Youssef. The captain, Rami Mahdi, can't get it to fall. He was the lone trailer trying to pick up that loose ball. Very lonely time there for Mahdi. The rest of his friends had already headed up court. They'd seen enough. Thought they better drop back on defense. Jibrin from three. Yes, sir. Oui, monsieur. Junior Jibrin nails the three, and that might be the spark that Chad needs to get that offense started back up here in the second half. Youssef leaves a nice floater. Good answer for Egypt. The trailer couldn't get it to go. Rebound, second chancer. Oh no. Oh my goodness. Two tough misses for Yaya. And in fact, he is human. So there's a putbacker for Egypt with an opportunity for a 3-point offensive trip. And the Pharaohs are muscling their way back into the ball game. Belal Sohaib. And my apologies, the basket did not count. So Sohaib will shoot two. Just couldn't get the stroke. Jibrin clears it out. Good transition. Usman could not seal the deal. Youssef moving quickly the other way. Good leave. And ran out of options and throws it away. Green, shot blocked. Good defensive work inside there that time by Sohaib. Youssef tries to float another one. Couldn't get that one to go. And Hamat Usman, big contributor in the first half with the rebound. Jetasem. Drive inside. And Sohaib commits a foul, but not before saying, nah, you're not going to get a free walk on me. So Mahdi will check out of the ball game. And Hendoui comes back in. They can use his offensive output. Hendoui is an important scorer on that Pharaoh side. As Timothée Ndoudou. Ndoudou, averaging 12 points a game, has only managed 2 so far. Not a very successful trip to the free throw line. Ibrahim, Youssef. Ibrahim, good fake. Ibrahim will drive into the paint, throws up a prayer, thought he might draw a foul and doesn't. Out on the wing to Usman. Couldn't lay it in. Will travel to the free throw line and earn him the hard way if he can. Zainuddin Abdeldaim, also important in the first half for the Pharaohs. 5 points. Yaya on 21, leading all scorers. Jibrin following with 14, leading scorer for Egypt. Sohaib with 7. Pardon, Bakhri with 9. The lead is 7. Bakhri driving, courageous at that. Just couldn't get lucky. Bakhri will try once again. He's stripped. Good strip. by Jetisem. And when in doubt, don't leave it out, because that man will jam it right back home. Gabayaya. And a block. Foul for Usman. Anytime that ball goes inside, then there's a foul called on Chad. All the hearts of the Chad supporters are temporarily skipping a beat, just hoping and praying that Gabayaya does not pick up his fourth personal foul. It certainly changed the complexion of the ball game with 4:38 remaining in the third. As it stands, Chad still with the lead, and both teams will get the chance to talk it over. Enough talking from me. Let's go down and listen in. Yalla. Pharaoh's ready. In the meantime, Chad built the lead back out to 9 points. Was down to 3 after the interchange. Keep in mind, Chad comes into this game with a world ranking from FIBA of 67, Egypt 25. Just to put things in perspective and accentuate the job that Chad has done in this tournament so far. Egypt comes up empty. It was not what they discussed in the timeout, I assure you. He takes one more step and they might have to ring him up for a travel. My goodness, he got a lot of mileage on that one. And Oudu unable to add anything to the score sheet. Youssef, Bahri. Well, he's driven a couple of times without success. That one was fantastic. Didn't get a whole lot of resistance and managed to put one in off the glass. Cut the lead down to 7. Watson. Yeah. Normally speaking, if you give him that much opportunity to shoot a tray, he could burn you, but that time just wasn't lucky. Bahri will try his luck again. Dish it out to the side. Have not had a lot of success with the three-pointer, have Egypt. As Abdel Daim coming up empty. Big man coming in. A little bit of a dry spell going on here as neither team able to buy a bucket. Youssef comes up over the timeline. For 3 once again. And a jump ball. Well forced. And we've seen that a lot in this tournament. A lot of times you'll get tagged for a foul, but Bilal Sohaib's thought, I'm just going to reach in there and tie this one up. And the officials in this tournament have more often than not gone jump ball on that decision. And in this case, it pans out well for the Pharaohs as the possession arrow was smiling down on them. So here a chance to do something about the 7 points they've spotted Chad. Oh, he runs into Watson. just let that picture speak for itself. Every once in a while, you just get one that moves you. Love that shot. Jetisem to the bench. Following the foul, the inbound from Egypt. A little bit over 2.5 minutes left to go here in the third. Bahri from three. Still nothing doing from three-point land for the Pharaohs. They are 1 of 12 from outside the arc. Chad, in contrast, 5 of 14. Chad still not, neither team shooting very well. Both teams under 40%. Egypt about 31%. Chad doing slightly better at 40, but certainly neither team doing anything that you'd want to consider a good night of shooting from the field. When he's not coaching basketball, he's fixing teeth. He has his own dental practice, does Rafik Safbini. I don't know what he was waiting for. Sohaib needed a personal invitation to put that one back up and in. But in he puts it, and the deficit is back down to 5. Very manageable. Too hot to handle, as the ball came in a little bit high for Jibrin. Jibrin on 14 points. Youssef in his own right. He's shooting his shirt number. Youssef wears number 6 and has put 6 in. And there's Yaya. No foul there, and no danger. And well approved by your man upstairs. Jibrin. Jibrin has definitely lost the touch since the early going. That was danger of being a travel. Pressure now from the Pharaohs. Baramaji looking on. Watson to inbound. Guamadem Watson. Comes back to help out. That was a lovely twisting move to the rim by Christopher Njeresem. Watson intercepts off the errant pass. Diab playing close defense, and it pays off. So Haib with the rebound. Chance now for Masr from the three-point arc. Once again, only 1 on the night from outside the arc. 5 seconds. It's all cleared out for Bahri, and he takes his chances in the paint. The old point guard from Team Chad, Asnal Nubaramache. Great player in his own right. Daps up Usman. Bahri buries one. This will just about all but close out the third quarter of play. Very little opportunity for much after this. Just off target. Chad will have precious little time to get anything off here in the end of the third quarter. And I'll be content to let the last second expire and take a 6-point lead into the fourth quarter. We'll take a brief break and be right back. It's 49-43, Chad leading Egypt. You're watching AfroBasket, the under-18s from Abidjan. So 10 minutes to decide it here in Taishville. Chad leading Egypt 47-42, and perhaps the most significant fact is that Yaya only has 3 fouls still. Did not pick up the fourth and the third. Played the entire period, stayed aggressive for the most part, and protected the rim and managed to avoid that nefarious number 4. Egypt won the quarter. They won the third quarter 10-8. And cut the halftime deficit from 7-5, but they haven't really been able to produce any kind of sustained run, and that will have to come here in the fourth then if the Pharaohs are going to pick up the win. Well, an emphatic no has been laid down, or challenge to that very proposition has been laid down by Yaya, and we've got Jabrin down on the court, but he's getting up just as quickly. Oh, he pops up. He's just fine. He wants to get right back at it. Look at him and Yaya dapping it up, and they are ready to go. This is going to be a tough slog for Egypt to get back in this ball game, because Chad can smell it now. They can feel it. They've got the confidence coming in after the win over Nigeria, and they have been exuding that through all 3 of the first quarters. That being said, we have been well entertained throughout, and I'm sure that the fourth will not disappoint. Now, with every possession carrying a lot of weight, Diab comes over to inbound for Egypt. Youssef down into the low post. Suhaib cannot get the basket out of the turn. The timeline comes Najera Sem. There he is. He's back. Junior Jibrin. Yes, sir. Number 17. With point number 17, by the way. Diab courageous. Can't get it to go. And an unforced error. A little bit too high motor. Diab. Yeah, going into those trees, he was lucky to draw a foul. This one will go and count against Usman. So Yaya on 25, leading all scores. Jibrin on his shirt number at 17. Bahri still leads Egypt with a dozen. At the line to shoot two. Malou Diab. Captain Mahdi back at the ballgame. His leadership will be needed. Loose ball. Usman, yes sir. And a foul shot. Cautious optimism needs to be the modus operandi for Chad, but tell that to a bunch of 18-year-olds. The spectators are up and out, up and at 'em. And I think we're going to get a review. And we're going to get a video review. And I think what is in question, as I look at my own monitor, Usman was held up by Abdel Daim, and I think they're going to look and see if this is a flagrant. He wasn't undercut. Usman did come crashing down onto the hardwoods, but it was more of a hold from Abdel Daim from what I could see briefly. And I'm sure that our game officials will take a good, close, careful look at this. As I said, every possession at this juncture is magnified, and this is certainly no exception. It's going to be a tough call. I wish we had it in the screen so you could judge for yourselves. You're going to have to rely on my judgment, and it's been a long time since I officiated a basketball game, but I did at one point. But from what I can see, and the camera angle is good, and I'm sure these guys can slow it down and we'll be able to look at as many replays as they need before they make a final decision. This, of course, is Wahaba from Morocco and Benani from Algeria. Having a look at the pictures. But I didn't see intent in it. I think it was clumsy, and let's see what these two fellows have decided. So if I'm reading the hand signals correctly, it's going to be a common personal foul, shooting, basket counts, and Mohamed Usman will go to the line to shoot one. And I think that is the correct call, in my humble opinion. And once again, I think that this officiating crew, as for my part, everything I've seen in the tournament, have been very competent and have run very good ball games. Putbacker, no, just too short for Jibrin. That would have been a big opportunity. 8:07 to go. The lead is 12. That's bad enough news for Egypt. They didn't need it to be 14. Youssef driving. Well, it was a clever pass, and I think maybe it was just a little too clever for the liking of Suhaib. Jibrin left it just off to the side. Safala, have not seen much of him on the afternoon. Bakhri back to the big fella, top of the key. That's what the good doctor ordered, and I don't mean the dentist on the sideline. Ahmed Saifala, where have you been all afternoon? Jerusalem. Watson. Jibrin gives to the other big fella. And he is happier than a clam to lay it in off the window. Yaba Yaya. Bakhri. Challenge the bigs. Youssef loses the handle, keeps it in bounds. Now that was clumsy, but I think Watson's going to be the victim of Youssef's clumsiness. I told you that Coach has now Nubadamaji, pardon, trying to watch two things at once and talk about the coach, and should stick to one theme. I told you he has not been that far removed from his playing days, and you see that on the sideline. And it's almost a camaraderie at times between him and the players, and it's just a different style. No preference to either. Rafik Safbini, the established coach, professional, and also very animated. And they've just got their own separate approaches, and you have to appreciate both. Both in their own right have done great work with both these squads. Youssef gets 2 to fall. Very, very important free throws. Now everything's important at this juncture. Diab looking determined. Got that Kurt Rambis look going. A little bit more graceful than old Kurt Rambis, I'll tell you that. Yeah. Well, that would have been quite something to get that one to go. But he was coming on like the 4 o'clock express out of Abidjan. He'll have a chance to demonstrate his skills from the free throw line. He's 1 of 2 tonight. This afternoon, rather. Oh, I want to make it nighttime all of a sudden. 2 more games remaining. I'll brief you on that if we get a lull in the action, which is doubtful, so I'll wait till the end of the game. In any case, following this, the home side, Côte d'Ivoire will play. I'll get back to you on that. See, I told you I was going to get myself in trouble. Yeah, pacing all scores with 28. Mahdi. Boy, they need those. They need those shots to fall. 6 minutes remaining. The chances will start to come fewer and further between. 10 points are the lead at this moment. Good strong rebound, good box out from Sohaib. Diab. Step backer for Bakhri. Just what every official wants is a couple of 18-year-olds helping to make the call. And Timothée, as in Timothée Ndoudu, will inbound for Chad. We'll get a timeout first. So at this juncture, with 5.5 left to play, Asnal Nubaramaji wants to talk things over, or are we getting? Well, we're going to get a review on that out of bounds play. So I don't know if that's going to be a charge timeout to Chad, or if they're going to get an opportunity to discuss things. This, of course, is a very good time to get everything right. Youngsters have worked so hard to get here, and you have to appreciate that the arbitrage takes that into account. Wanting to get everything correct and make sure that the game is decided on the court by the players. And it will remain possession for Chad. I said it last night, and I'll say it again. If you can do it better, by all means, get out and start officiating yourself. You've done an excellent job in this game and throughout the tournament. But there are always officials needed in the game of basketball. Contact your club, local federation. Get yourself a Fox 40 and start working some games and contribute to the great sport of basketball. Speaking of contributing to the great sport of basketball, how about number 14, Gabayaya? Five minutes remaining. Last half of the quarter, Diab tries to take things into his own hands. And that expression says it all. Oh, yeah, that was a flex. That was indeed a flex. Remains Faro ball. Yeah, from the perimeter. That floater gets no further than his last shot as the shot clock timed out on Diab. Almost a theft of ball in front of our very eyes, and doesn't matter if the basket has been all wound up in the rim. Junior Jibrin finds it anyway. What a performance from him tonight. Bakhri managed to sneak that by Yaya, but did not direct it in. Well, if Usman tries to get up, he's going to be traveling, but as it turns out, Bakhri ties him up. It is a jump ball. I believe we are looking at possession for Chad, or no, for Egypt. Mm-hmm. 31 points on the night for Ngabayaya. Junior Jibrin on 19. And Usman with 10. As we mentioned, we've unmasked the third musketeer. And it was none other than Muhammad Usman. Plenty of room for more heroes in the last 4 minutes, though. But right now, the Pharaohs are looking for their own Tutankhamun to arise and lead the Pharaohs' charge. Just having a bit of technical difficulty at the moment with the pictures. We've gone to ground somewhere. We'll try to keep you updated until that returns. As we went to dark, it was 64-49. .334 was the timestamp on that basket. And there is a timeout. So perhaps that'll buy us also a little bit of time to get the pictures back up on screen. And once again, apologies for the loss of picture. I do have the FIBA play-by-play, which is hopefully going to be able to keep us up to date, and I will give you the readout on that, hearkening back to a day when they used to call sports from a ticker tape. So for the Pharaohs, Ibrahim checking out of the game, Youssef back in as we get set to start things back up. 3.5 minutes remaining in the ball game. Chad leading by a score of 66-49. Bakhri misses a three-pointer. Sefala with the offensive rebound. Mahdi misses from three, and Usman rebounds for Chad. .313, now down to 2:57. Turnover. Watson, errant pass. Another chance for Egypt, but they're going to have to move quickly now. And we're slowly but surely getting you caught back up in rapid fashion. And we are back with live pictures at 2:46, and it's become dire now. Still a manageable deficit. 7 points, but throughout the game, we have not seen the kind of protracted run that Egypt will need to get themselves over the line, but who knows? Lots of time left. Chad will have to show poise. Rely on their coach, Asnal Nubaramaje, to get them home. Pressure now from the Pharaohs. They'll have to do that. And they force a turnover. This could be perhaps the most crucial possession of the game for Egypt. Timeout for Chad. Understandable. Asnal Nubaramaje does not want to leave anything to chance at this juncture. We'll talk it over with the guys. as I'm sure will Rafik Safbini.
Il réserve, il reçoit le ballon. Ne tirez pas. Et il a un jeu de 5 passes. Il faut qu'il court, il faut qu'il fasse faute. Ils n'ont que 3 fautes. Je veux qu'il y ait collectif. Donc on prend soin du ballon.
Every possession counts now. Lots of confidence on the face of Yaya. Lots of confidence on her face as well. She seems to be in the coast at home mode. No nerves there. Here we go. Pharaohs to inbound. 2:40 remaining. Nothing given free. Youssef spinning, going up against Yaya. He says, no, no. No, no. Try again. And that they will. Rami Mahdi, the captain, to inbound. Behind the arc for a three-pointer. No, more of the same. They need one badly. They'll try another. And turn the ball over. Not the result they were looking for. Adoudou with the interception. Very important. Watson now from the point. Foul. Timothée Adoudou. Adoudou has not been a big contributor to the score sheet with only 4 points, but he's been important elsewhere, including that last turnover. As Nguema Watson will inbound just off the mark that time for Jibrin. 2 minutes remaining. Bahri allowed to go coast to coast. That should have been, I think, I'll just leave it at that. Alley-oop, yes sir. Yes sir. You're gonna close it out? Do it with an exclamation point. Gaba delighting the fans, young and old, here in the Palais de Sport de Treichville. What an exhibition. 33 points for Ngaba Yaya. Doing his teammates back in Espoir Basket Club du Gabon. Very proud, I'm sure. Gabon doing good business earlier against Morocco. And I'm sure that Yaya does not want his compatriots, his friends from Gabon, to outdo his Chadian team. What answer, if any, with a minute 30, can Egypt cobble together? Youssef keeps a glimmer of hope with a free throw. Cuts the lead to 8. He's put in 9 so far. He's been perfect from the free throw line, and then, of course, I put the jinx on him. Things are certainly starting to shape up in favor of a Chad win. I'm being cautiously optimistic. I've been burned by early enthusiasm before. Jibrin at the free throw line. Would you believe he has not shot a single free throw on the afternoon? And true to form, steps up to the line and drills two. And all right, it's too early for me, but I understand the sentiment. Jibrin is given the sleepy time sign, and he may very well be right. The enthusiasm is out of the voice. The writing is on the wall, the hieroglyphics, if you will. Egypt will more than likely have to hope for a best third. They had the opportunity, and a lot of things will, of course, now rely on other groups. They had good papers in terms of differential because of a good differential they put up on Nigeria. But if they're going to spot 20 points, it could be very difficult, if not impossible, for them to emerge from the group stage. Chad, on the other hand, has made a statement here at AfroBasket. They will advance, and they will be a team to be reckoned with. And opposing coaches for once the draw is made, or once the next stage has been filled in, whoever is going to face this outfit are going to see numbers 17 and 14 in their dreams, and they might be nightmares. One minute remaining. Yeah. Unnecessary. Gives me a chance to set the table for the rest of the day here on the FIBA YouTube channel. Following this, we will have two more games remaining on the men's competition. 5 o'clock UTC, which is the same as Abidjan time. 7 o'clock Central European time. Nigeria will tip it off against the home side, Cote d'Ivoire. And the nightcap will be between Mali and Madagascar. That tipping off at 7:30 UTC and 9:30 European time. Both of those matches will be presented en français. Egypt closing out strong. Proud basketballing nation just hitting a hiccup today. They ran into the X factor called momentum. And you see it on Usman. He was the X factor today. They needed a strong third player, and Mohamed Osman stepped up and delivered. And speaking of deliveries, this fella could have the same nickname as Karl Malone, the postman, because he delivered in a big way. 33 points for Ngaba Yaya, and a famous win for Chad basketball. The second musketeer of the evening, Junior Jibrin, number 17, ended up with 21 points. Strong team performance throughout, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the fact it was all under the tutelage of Asnal Nubaramaje. What a fantastic job he's done in this tournament. Coming back, mind you, from an opening round loss to Cote d'Ivoire of 104-51. And the Chad coach said, we have to forget it. And they did. And they, in the meantime, have created memories and an historical moment in Chadian basketball for sure. This under-18 squad has written a new chapter, and we will see just how far it can go coming out of the group stage. For Egypt, a proud basketballing nation, and we'll have to take consolence in the fact that they came up against just an absolute magical run from this Chad team and an absolute magical player in Ngaba Yaya. Fans of the game, not just in Africa, but around the world, take note of the man wearing number 14, Yaya. Not to forget players like Junior Jibrin, who will also certainly make a name for themselves, as will a number of other players, not just on the court this afternoon, but throughout the tournament. It's been a pleasure to watch this one. I told you at the onset it was going to be fun, and they did not disappoint. From Abidjan, from the Palais des Sports de Treichville here in Côte d'Ivoire, hats off to the LOC, hats off to Chad, and commiserations to Egypt, and wait and see if they might be able to get through as a best third. Time will tell. The tournament still has several more games to play out, and then the tallies will all be made up, and we'll find out who our participants are in the next round of AfroBasket. But for now, I'm John Monin. It's been my pleasure and a privilege, and until the next time, a bientôt, yellow goodbye.